Michigan guy, Sekou Smith.
I trust him too.
I know, me too. Sekou Smith joins us live.
He just doesn't trust you. That's the difference.
Sekou, do you trust me to orchestrate this interview right here? I mean, you okay with that?
I hope you get it. I hope you get it done, Jeb. You're struggling
you.
right now, though. Struggling. Coach Smitty wants you out of it.
I know. They're being a little difficult on this holiday when they're supposed to be joyous. Okay. Sekou, first and foremost, before we get to who you trust, what's the deal with Chris Paul? When do you think we'll find out? And what do you think the deciding factors will be with his hamstring injury?
Well, next few minutes, as soon as we get our hands on Mike D'Antoni here before the game, we'll have a chance to ask him directly, obviously, what Chris Paul's status is for tonight. And, Jared, the rumblings I'm hearing is that, his injury, the hamstring injury is something that is not going to allow him to perform anywhere near close to what he's used to. And therefore, that would make him a liability more than an asset on this court tonight. I'll be very surprised to see Chris Paul in uniform and trying to contribute to this game.
How much added pressure does that put on James Harden with all the factors into this game?
I think he comes in with a ton of pressure on his shoulders anyway, based on last year's exit in the playoffs. When I first got down here mid-April, started covering the Rockets during this postseason, that was all anybody wanted to talk about, is how worried they were, that James Harden would have another moment like that, where he looked so out of it, so disjointed when they got eliminated by the Spurs, that's kind of hung over their entire playoffs. Think about it. To close out Utah, Chris Paul was a catalyst. To get them back in this series and to get them to a point where they had the Warriors on the brink of elimination, Chris Paul's the one who stepped up and did that. So tonight is a night where, Chris Paul's not available. That means that James Harden has to step up and have a Hall of Fame, all-time great, Kia MVP-type performance in a Game 7 on his home floor.
How about from the Warriors side? No Andre Iguodala again. Sekou, I don't know if you've gotten the sense here from being embedded with this series that there's a lot of skepticism nationally about why does Andre Iguodala impact this team so much when you still got 4 All-Stars? Why does he matter so much, I guess, is the question we constantly are hearing.
I think part of it, Jared, is that when you have 4 All-Stars, maybe that 5th guy is the one who can be pulled in any different direction to make things work. He's kind of the guy who keeps the rest of them connected. Draymond is without question the leader vocally and emotionally of this team. But I would tell you that Andre Iguodala is right behind him in terms of being the center of how this group operates. I mean, he's the steadying influence, the veteran guy of that group. And when they put that 5-man lineup out there, with him in the starting group, that's when they take it to the next level. And I think his importance to this team cannot be overstated. Not having him to finish off this series is going to be something that they have to overcome tonight.
We were talking, obviously, as you heard with the guys, about who they trust, and they both went with Klay Thompson, also Draymond Green. But there's been so much chatter over this series about how Kevin Durant has approached these games and how he has executed very un-Warrior-like. Do you expect to see a change from Kevin Durant tonight, and ultimately how that impacts Steph Curry is going to be a big question?
I don't expect to see so much a change in KD and his demeanor or how he plays, but I do expect the Warriors to remind themselves repeatedly that they're at their best when the ball is moving. KD has fallen into some of his old OKC habits, where, you get a tight game, everything's on the line. It was either he or Russell Westbrook taking the shot. Well, he's on a team now where ball movement is critical, and the guy who takes that important shot might not be the guy who starts out the possession with the ball in his hands. So I would expect Draymond and certainly Klay Thompson and Steph Curry to remind him throughout the course of this game that they're at their best when the ball's moving, and KD is getting it maybe, second and third opportunities in the possession to get a shot off. They're so good when everybody's engaged offensively that I don't think you can, overlook how important it's going to be for that ball to move. And when you talk about players you trust, Jared, I trust Draymond Green and Trevor Ariza because they're 2 guys whose games to go to that highest level, it's not predicated on making shots. And anytime you got a guy in the game who can affect the action on both ends without scoring being his only mode, I think that's really important in a Game 7.
All right, Sekou Smith joining us live tonight in Toyota Center in Houston, where just under 2 hours from now we'll have Game 7 to decide the second half of the NBA Finals matchup.